Good morning, Outliers. Welcome to today's Outlier Live, where we cover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data has to say about it. Our top story of the day is another problem. Yet another problem with a Boeing airplane. I tell you what, if they keep this up, there's not going to be any more Boeing airplanes left. I mean, it is just absolutely crazy. Tesla just had probably the worst thing to ever happen. And as a Tesla owner, I'm not really excited about that. I'm kind of worried about it. And then lastly, a Target employee actually did their job, but they might get in trouble for having done this. Doing your job leaves you to potential jail time. Who knew, right? We'll cover all that and more on today's Outlier Live. Top story of the day, Delta Airlines Boeing plane loses their emergency slide mid-flight, and the crew hears non-routine vibrations. I'll tell you what, you can't catch a break for Boeing, right? Every time they turn around, there's more problems after another. Hey, my name is Christopher Ewell, and thank you for joining us in today's Outlier Live, where we cover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data has to say about it. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below. So let's take a look at this, right? The flight was bound for Los Angeles and forced to return to New York City when the emergency slide fell off, right? It's that slide that you see in the movies where all the kids, it looks like a bouncy castle slide, right? Where all the kids are always like, man, that'd be so cool if we got to go down the slide to get out of the plane. Yeah, it probably would be really cool, right? You roll up to the airport, and rather than everybody filing out the door and fighting over their luggage or whatnot, you just go down the slide. That'd be so much fun. But I don't think that this is the way it's supposed to be fun, right? After an emergency slide billowed off a Delta airline aircraft after takeoff on Friday, the LA-bound Boeing plane was forced to return to New York City's JFK International Airport. Delta Airlines and the FAA confirmed to Fox News it safely returned to JFK around 8:35 a.m. Friday. Authorities said that the plane's crew alerted air traffic control after hearing a non-routine vibration from near the right wing. The crew also observed a flight deck indication that the emergency slide had fallen off. It's funny to joke about, but I'm sure it was terrifying. When they heard a non-routine vibration, right? You're sitting in the back, you're used to all these noises and vibrations and whatnot, and then you're just like, oh no, something's not right here. And you look out the window and you see the slide hanging down, right? Like some sort of twisted nightmare fuel of that nightmare we all have where you're falling out of the sky or falling off a building or whatever. Twisted nightmare fuel of falling out of a Delta Boeing plane down the slide. The plane landed safely, and all the passengers got onto an LAX bound aircraft, right? But it's not just that this happened. It's the fact that Boeing is getting screwed left, right, and center. Every time we turn around, there's another problem with Boeing planes. And the whistleblower who brought this out, he's gone. That's probably the scariest part to me, right? They're so focused on making sure that they can continue their profits, they can continue their corporate greed, they can continue to put out unsafe aircraft, it seems, that if you go and you whistleblow on them, it's the last thing you're ever going to do. Isn't that scary? Oh my gosh. So yeah, one story after another with Boeing. And this time, I don't know, is it going to get even worse? Or have we finally seen the end of all these issues? Let me know in the comments what you think. Let's take a look at what the AI trading data has to say on Boeing. Boeing is honestly one of my very favorite to point out just how well this trading data works, because we showed a buy signal right before the giant run up, right before this run up right here, and then a sell signal days before the doors blew out on the Alaska Airlines flight. And it fell like 25% after that point. Now, we do have a buy signal on Boeing as of April 1st. So we'll see how that materializes. But I'll tell you one thing. Outlier is showing a positive return at 14%, while buy and hold is down 50%, right? That's the power of Outlier, right? Sometimes these aren't the greatest, biggest winners ever, but they outperform buy and hold by ridiculous amounts. And this is a great example. Like this one here, 14% positive return, while buy and hold is down 50%. And, like I say, it's one of my very favorite examples ever to look at inside of Outlier, because it was so crazy to see the buy signal right before the huge run and to see the sell signal literally 2 or 3 days before the jet plane's doors blew off the plane. Absolutely ridiculous. So listen, I want to share with you the Secret Investing book, where I talk more about how to trade using Outlier. It's 13 of the best secrets that I've ever found with over a year, or I'm sorry, with over 10 years of trading inside of Wall Street. So be sure you head over to secretinvestingbook.com, get a free copy of this 160-page book, absolutely free. Let's go see what the internet has to say about this, right? Delta Airlines Boeing 767 safely returned to land at JFK International Airport following an in-flight deployment of the right overwing emergency slide. Nobody was hurt. Well, that's good. I'm really glad to hear that nobody was hurt. But yikes, that's so crazy, right? Let's see if we can get a bigger picture. I guess that's where the slide comes out, but it's not there anymore. I wish that we had a picture of what the slide looked like coming out. I'm sure somebody on the plane was snapping photos, and they're very, very worth a lot of money to a journalist right now. I'll tell you that. All the overact because Boeing is in the news. Never mind that this airplane has been flying for 20 plus years. Boeing's in the news because these airplanes have been flying for 20 plus years, and they seem to all be breaking at once. Yes. And the hits keep coming for Boeing, for freak's sake. This person says, surprised again. Let's see what else. Didn't they have a similar incident a year ago? They must have in June 2023. Emergency slide at the back of this aircraft was accidentally deployed, hitting a flight attendant, and she was taken to the hospital. Whoa. Wow, I had no idea that was happening. I'll tell you what, the hits just keep on coming for Boeing. And I actually will be flying soon with my children for the first time in ages, in a couple months. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous because we are going to be flying a Boeing aircraft. This is probably the worst headline as a Tesla owner that you could want to see. Yes, so I own a Tesla Model Y. I think Elon Musk is this generation's Henry Ford, and I'm excited to see where the future holds for them, right? Call me a Tesla stan, Tesla fanboy, whatever you want. That's fine. But a Tesla driver using Autopilot was charged with vehicular homicide and the death of a motorcyclist. Okay. Tesla driver facing vehicular homicide after hitting and killing a motorcyclist. So I use Autopilot all the time when I'm driving. I would venture to say 80% of the time I'm using Autopilot, right? As much as you could use cruise control, you can use Autopilot. It's really, really, really good. It's very similar to what your adaptive cruise control can do, right? It'll speed up and slow down based on vehicles around you. But it will also go around corners, right? I don't have the full self-driving. I have experienced it, and I didn't like it. It did not do the things that I would do, and in fact, it made me really nervous. But it will go in your lane as far as you want to go, right? You could go 1,000 miles down the road, and if you never switch lanes, it will stay in that lane, speeding up and slowing down based on the traffic, and go around the corners, right? All the corners that you're used to. And it can go around some pretty hard banks, right? I've taken it on some country roads, and there's some corners where I'm like, oh, I'm not real sure about this. So I got my hands right over the wheel, but it manages to go. It'll slow down for the corner. It'll make the corner, and it'll speed up out of the corner. And it honestly works amazing. And that's just the free version, right? But seeing that it caused the death of a motorcyclist, that kind of scares me, right? That's not something that I want to see or hear. Definitely, absolutely never ever want to be a part of. I used to ride motorcycles. I had a Harley Davidson Sportster, and I gave it up before my oldest son was born. And my wife rode on it one time ever. And she saw an accident, not at that time, but she saw an accident, like she witnessed an accident of this motorcycle crash where I don't blame her for that at all. And it sounds like this is what happened, unfortunately. A Washington man has been arrested and charged with vehicular homicide after a Tesla in autopilot mode slammed into a motorcyclist, killing him. And here's the thing, right? Tesla is not to be blamed for this. You as the driver are still in charge, right? Overall, there was a computer problem, it sounds like, that caused this. But you as the driver are still responsible for what the car does. The Model S driver identified in the court documents, blah, blah, blah. lurched forward and accelerated and collided with the motorcycle in front of him. The motorcyclist was pronounced dead on the crash site, which is really unfortunate. Talks about who they were. He was 29 years old. The Tesla driver admitting to having one drink prior to the crash, but passed field and blood tests. Detectives labeled the distracting driving as the cause, since the driver was using his phone at the time. Tesla is offering new and existing Model S, 3, X, and Y owners the opportunity to experience latest full driving features with 30-day free trial, which is exactly what I did. The 30-day free trial. And actually, I think that expires today. I was not impressed. Not at all. There were 2 instances where I'm like, what are you doing? And after that, I'm like, I'm done with this. First instance was we were coming up to an intersection. There was a car turning left in front of me, and it slowed down, and then it started creeping out onto the shoulder to go around the car. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just relax. We're not in that big hurry. We don't need to be going off-road to get around this car. We just wait 4 more seconds. And the other time was we were driving down the freeway, and we got behind a vehicle, and there were several cars on my left passing us, and there was a gap, a small gap, not a gap that I would have tried to make, not at all. And the car like floored it, put on its blinker, and tried to get over into it. And the truck's coming up behind us, honking at us, and I'm dragging it back over. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "The car did it by himself." And I immediately disabled full self-driving after that. I'm like, no, this is not ready for prime time, not with my family at the wheel. So yeah, that's really, really sad to see. It says under your supervision, full self-driving can drive basically almost anywhere. It will make lane changes, select folks to follow on your navigation route, navigate and other vehicles and objects, and make left and right turns. The company recommends drivers use additional caution and remain attentive when utilizing the feature. It has not become autonomous, and drivers should not be complacent. And Tesla has yet to respond for comment. Oh, I tell you what, this is just the worst thing that you could hear, right? And here's the thing with Tesla, right? There's always these smear campaigns that come out with Tesla, and unfortunately, it's not Tesla's fault exactly that this happened, but it was the enablement of what Tesla did, right? Enabling that person to feel confident enough to take his eyes off the road, to be complacent. And unfortunately, a terrible accident happened. Let's take a look at Ford stock, though, right? We don't talk enough about other car companies. We speak a lot about Tesla, but let's take a look at Ford stock. Ford, we just got a sell signal here on April 16th. We got a sell signal. But, Ford has been really struggling. I saw an article the other day that Ford had lost over $132,000 per electric vehicle that they sold. I don't remember specifically. It may have been just been the electric vans, or it may have been the whole electric category in general. But their expenses versus how much they've actually sold in electric vehicles has been like ludicrously weighted in the wrong direction, unfortunately. And I don't know what Ford's going to do, right? Do you think, let me know in the comments, do you think that they're going to keep pushing the electric vehicles forward that they have? I've always been of the mindset of, like, whenever we talk motorcycles, right? Since we're talking about motorcycles, right? For me, there are no other motorcycles except Harley Davidsons. And so for people who own EVs, or people who are looking for EVs, there are no other EVs except Teslas. And so I think that is the biggest hurdle that all the other auto manufacturers are like not able to accomplish, is the fact that their batteries like explode in people's garages. Teslas are really, really safe. The allure of everybody else's EVs, they're not there. Nobody wants them. They all want Teslas. The technology inside the Teslas is heads and shoulders above everything that Ford is making. So I'm not really sure how Ford is going to handle this, right? But I do know that we got a sell signal. And in fact, looking at the performance summary here, we can see that Outliers outperformed buy and hold significantly, 106.27% returns versus 46.82% for buy and hold. So Outliers just really dominating these buy and sell signals. But I do want to send you something that I use whenever I look to trade. It's called my Bullish Power cheat sheet. You can get a free copy of it over at bullishpower.com. It shows you exactly step by step on one simple page everything that I look for whenever I'm looking to buy a stock. Now let's go take a look and see what the internet has to say about this, right? Breaking: the National Highway Traffic Association Safety Association. I don't actually know what NTSHA is. I'm just trying to make it up. Closed its long-running probe of Tesla's Autopilot. It reviewed hundreds of crashes involving Autopilot misuse, including 13 that were fatal. Says there's a critical security gap between driver expectations and the capabilities. Let's see what people say. Gosh, wonder why. Autopilot, full self-driving. Oh, because they're making it sound that way, right? If it were not marketed that way, some tiny small print saying otherwise. Yeah, I get that. Let's see what else. I've had FSD, full self-driving, from nearly the beginning, and any gap is not Tesla's fault. There are so many times the system alerts and warns you to always pay attention, and that's requiring supervision prior to enabling it. He is so true. Every 30 seconds to a minute, you get a flash on the screen. It's like, take the wheel, right? Grab the wheel so we can prove that you're paying attention. And one time, I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't grab the wheel, and it shut it down. It said, it is disabled for this drive. Tough McGillicuddies. You are not allowed to use this anymore today. I was like, whoa, okay. During the drive, there are so many obnoxious or obvious alerts to pay attention regularly, and even loud, obnoxious disable alert. Nobody can mess within the system. That's what I'm talking about. It's like all these disclaimers not to enter the animal cages at the zoo, yet a kid still climbs into the animal cage, which explains the gap. Not Tesla. It's misleading or uncommunicative, and not Tesla being misleading or uncommunicative in any way. So yeah, I see both sides of the story here. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this story. A New Jersey Target employee thwarts 3 women stealing shopping cart full of merchandise. The women attempted to steal nearly $600 worth of merch from the Target store. Hey, if you're just tuning in, my name is Christopher Ewell, and we cover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data has to say about it. If you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below. So I used to work at, my very first job was working at a gas station. Actually, I was one of those in the gas station, selling the cigarettes, selling the sodas, selling the coffees, enabling the gas pumps, all that kind of stuff. That was my very first job. And when I had that job, the thing that they told us was, if someone comes and robs the place, let them have it. Just go. Because they have insurance, they have the police. Nothing in that store is worth risking my life for. And I appreciate that, right? It's like, bro, if you're going to rob the place, take whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not going to fight you over it. You can deal with the police with that. But I'm not risking my life to save $600 worth of merch. But this person did. Now, there have been stories where the employee actually ends up getting fired. I don't have the references here, but I have heard stories of the employees getting fired for stopping people from stealing, losing your job, maybe even having criminal charges put against you, right? Maybe assault, maybe battery or something like that. So there's so many reasons where if somebody's stealing their stuff, I ain't dealing with that. I, as an employee working there, ain't nobody got time for that, right? You want to steal it, by all means, but maybe we should get the police involved instead of you like risking your life to save Target stuff. A sharp-eyed Target employee at a New Jersey store spotted 3 women attempting to leave with nearly $600 worth of stolen goods, forcing the threesome to abandon ship quickly and scatter. Dramatic surveillance video captured the male Target employee springing into action after noticing 3 women were gallivanting out of the store without paying for their cart full of stuff. Authorities say that the items in the cart were valued at $581.29. But like in California, isn't that a law where if it's less than $900, they can't even do anything about it? That's what I heard. California's so messed up. But this is in New Jersey, right? Yeah. In a press release, this township said that the incident happened at approximately 5:30 p.m. On a Monday. In the surveillance video, the 3 women were seen parading around the store and filling Target's signature red shopping cart full of merchandise. One video showed the suspects exiting the store and parking a silver Jeep SUV with an unknown temporary license plate and a spare freight run tire outside of the store. So one of them ran out, got their Jeep with plates that they didn't want people to catch them with, right? And a spare tire. Clearly, they are not taking care of this vehicle, right? The 2 other suspects were seen approaching the register, appearing to head towards the register, but then exiting without paying. So they just took a left, head straight out the door. Let's keep on going here. Oh, it was William. Thank you for watching live, and thank you for that comment as well. It was at a Lululemon where somebody got in trouble for that, right? These places. Yeah, I certainly am not risking my life, William. Their shopping spree abruptly ended after the Target employee bolted after them, stopping them outside the store with their unpaid items. I was hoping to see the video, but I guess we're not. The employee was seen retrieving the car as suspects fled into the Jeep. Police are asking for help identifying the women. Hey, if you know who these women are, please call this tip line. This story, part of me is like, man, good for him. But the other half of me is like, bro, you don't actually know what these people are capable of. And I, for one, would not be risking my life and limb for that. Let me know in the comments down below. Would you be chasing them out? Right? I mean, granted, let's say he's a big burly linebacker type of dude, right? And he's like, I could take these women. You don't know what they are carrying. They might just end you right there in the middle of Target. All you got to do is just let the police do their job. Let's take a look at what the Target stock looks like on Outlier, right? We actually got a sell signal recently on, let me zoom in here in Outlier. We got a sell signal on March 18th. Now, I'm pretty sure that sell signal doesn't have anything to do with those vandals stealing right there, right? But Target, like all the other retail stocks out there, they've been hurt. They've really been struggling lately. I mean, you can see the highs up in 2021 compared to now. I mean, retail sales are falling off a cliff. People are struggling due to inflation. And retail places like Target are ones that are hit first, right? If you're going to cut back, you're going to cut back with eating out and shopping, right? And shopping for probably the necessities at the very, very least. And seeing how you could go to Walmart or you could go to Target, basically get the same thing with a different markup. I would assume more people are heading over to Walmart than they are Target these days. But let's take a look at the AI trading data performance here. Outlier shows an 80% return versus buy and hold at 33.8. So Outlier, once again, being dominant versus buy and hold at 80% versus buy and hold at 33%. So I want to send you my AI stock trading strategy. It's 100% free. All you got to do is go to turntradesIntoProfits.com and I'll send you my full AI stock trading strategy. It's several pages long, but it goes everything that you're going to need to know step by step to help you start trading with AI. So go to turntradesIntoProfits.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Outlier Live. We will see you on the next episode.